everyone, this is Samantha from Scrapmaster's Paradise and welcome to another Frugal Friday video. Today I concentrated on some embellishments that you can make with a scallop punch. And so it's really simple and easy. I walk you through a couple of these beautiful flowers and I'm going to make two cards at the end. Well, here's one and then another card here. So let's go ahead and get started. Today I'm going to work on another set of flower embellishments, and if we get to cards then I will definitely add those in the end of this video. I've got this whole sheet here of scallop circles, and you could actually do this with a scallop circle punch. I was thinking, you know, making embellishments out of scallop circle punches, but I don't have a scallop circle punch right now. A lot of my scrapbooking stuff is in storage. And so I decided to just use my Cricut and cut out a whole sheet of these little scallop circles. So these measure 1.75 inches. And what I did on the Cricut is I used the Winter Woodland cartridge. The first page of it has a scallop circle, snowflakey type embellishment. This is the blackout layer. And I just cut out the blackout layer and I auto-filled the page. So it ended up cutting 36 of these little babies out of this sheet of paper. This is from the For the Record 2 Documented collection, which is part of the monthly kit for August. I'm just going to get all these off the sheet here, and then we'll play around with them. Okay, so now I've got 36 of these little scallop circles, and I used this sheet of paper here. Now it's all holy. And I maybe could get a strip off of this side, but pretty much this one's toast. So I'm just going to set it aside. Okay, first I want to do a little crinkle scallop flower. So for this I'm going to use 5 of these, maybe just 4. I don't know how well it's going to crinkle up. And also I want to note, like, this is a really newsprinty type of pattern paper that I use, but you could use an old book, some old newspaper if you have a scallop punch. I just didn't want to run those through my Cricut, as the paper would be really delicate and then the corners would mess up. These little like indentation parts would mess up. So I just used some newsprint pattern paper, but you could get away with repurposing things if you have a scallop punch. So I got some adhesive here. You're going to need a liquid adhesive or a hot glue gun. I'm just going to crinkle these up. I'm not going to crinkle them all totally, just like maybe like that. And then this one just around the edges a little bit, because they're all going to stack together. And then I need a couple that are all the way squished. So I'm just going to squish it the best I can. This paper's a little bit thick. Okay, I got those 3 little squishy ones. So this one will be our base. This one will be our next layer, and we're just going to unravel these and start layering it up. Let me get some glue going. It doesn't take much because this glue is really strong, but I got to hold it for a second to get it to stick. Okay. Add some more glue. Unravel one of these. Oops. And I'm going to crinkle it so that all the little crinkles are going up. And stick it on there. Oops. Crinkle it a little bit more. Hold it down. This is cool because you can see the other side. Okay. Then the next one, I do the same thing except leave it bunched up in the middle. That I've bunched it up so it's a little bit smaller still, because they're all going to stack together. Just holding it down with my thumb. Okay, last one. This one I'm going to squish it up so it's almost into a ball still, but I want most of this newsprinty type pattern showing. The other can show a little bit, but I don't want it showing very much. Okay. Stick that in the middle. Hold it down. The top 2 layers weren't holding very well because I didn't have much glue, so I went back and added a little bit more glue to those layers so it will get it to hold. So I'm just going to set this one aside. And I'm going to make a different sort of crinkle flower. For this one, I'm just going to do these 3. We'll see how it looks with just 3. I'm going to crinkle these up again and then unroll them just a little bit. They still got crinkle, but they're pretty much opened. Okay, so look at that. And then this one I'm not going to crinkle quite as much, just around the edges. Okay. I'm going to add a brad. My air conditioning came on and it blows right on the table. Okay, so I picked out some brads. Let's see. I'm trying to see what would work really good with my paper pad, the rest of it. I'm thinking maybe this one would look really nice. We'll go with that one. Just a plain old brad this time. This is from the My Mind's Eye, the Sweetest Thing brad collection. There's 4 different Sweetest Thing brad collections. This one is called Lavender the Best. Got that. Set these aside. I'm just going to poke it through all these layers. Let's see, I have a hole punch. You could use an X-Acto knife to punch this hole. And try to get it near the center. I'm just using this, I think it's an 1/8 of an inch hole punch. I don't know, it's smaller than like a 3-hole punch. You can see it's a lot smaller. Get my last one in there. Okay, so now I have a hole for my brads. You could use an X-Acto knife or scissors to poke that hole. I'm just going to layer these. And close my brad. And squish. I'm going to squish my top 2 layers so that you get lots of dimension going. Oops, my brad's moving. Okay. Squishing. Even the bottom layer I'm going to squish some more. It just takes lots of manipulating the paper until you get it how you like it. I actually think that's pretty cute. We've got one with a little brad in the middle. This one is still not totally stuck together, but it'll get there. So I've got that one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a few more of these because I'm going to embellish these and make them look even cooler. Okay, for this next piece I'm going to make a little shape here. I don't know what to call it, 3D-ish type of thing going on. So what I've done is I've scored all of these down the center, and with my scallop circle I have one end, you can see I'll fold it here. So one side is actually in the middle of one of the little scallop shapes, and then the other side is between one of the points. So it just depends on your scallop whether it's going to be between 2 of the points or one of each type of deal. I'm going to get all these folded so that my newsprint is on the outside. So I've got them all folded here, and then I'm just going to line them up and connect them here. So since mine has the one bumpy side, I got to make sure I line up that same side together when I'm doing this. And I'm just going to line them up by the scallops. Make sure both sides are evened out. I'm trying to get them lined up just right. Then I'll do the next one. And when I was doing this, I was thinking it would be a great little ornament to make, or decoration. Just going to get these lined up. If you just do the whole thing and then attach some like baker's twine in the middle of it and have a bow on the top, it'd be a cute little ornament. But I'm not doing an ornament this time. I'm going to add this to a card. Gotta make sure the bump is up at the top. But I like the idea of an ornament, so I might make one of those a different day. Getting them all lined up. Last one. Bump on the top. Mine is going to lay flat like this on a card and be just a 3D element on my card. So I'm going to set this back, let it dry, and then we'll work on embellishing the other ones I have ready. Okay, so with all those little scallops, I just made a bunch of these little flowers. I've got 5 of them. So I'm just going to take them off, and I have a little terry cloth here. This is just one of my old grungy terry cloths that I use for cleaning stamps and wiping off ink from various things that I get ink on while I'm crafting. So I just put it down. That's going to catch my ink here. And I'm going to make this one look all vintagey with some smooch spritz. This is just a shimmer spray, and this, I think it's called Log Cabin. I'm not sure. It's just a really dark brown, so I've got to shake it up and get that glitter all around. Okay, so with the smooch spritz, you have to hold it back further than you would think. You'd think you could spray light here, but it's actually really concentrated if you spray it up close. So I'm going to really hold it back. Maybe like, I don't know, 10 inches or so. Oops, it's going crooked. Okay, got one. All right, so now you can see it looks all pretty, and I'll let that dry. You can see it's got lots and lots of shine on it, and you can still see the newsprint through all of that. And you could even hold it back further and get a lighter coating of the spray. So that just looks nice, pretty, and vintage. We'll use that one on one. Now for this next one, I have some fireworks spray. It's also a glitter spray. This one is really bright. It's called New Sprout, and it's bright green. So this one's going to give it a brighter look to it rather than the vintagey type of look. All right, that should be good. So this one I'm going to hold it back too, and we'll see how far back you need to be. Okay, so it's actually not too bad. I'm just going to actually just kind of soak this because the green's pretty light. So we've got some green going. I also have a purple one and a pink one I could do with this. This is also just really nice and shimmery. When it dries, it'll have that shimmery effect. I'm going to set that one aside. And for this one, I'm going to add glitter. This is just a $1 glitter glue I picked up at a craft store. You could use Stickles or any kind of glitter glue that you have. I'm just going to add it around the edges here. No particular pattern or anything. I'm just coating everything pretty much around the edges. Not being too careful with any of it. It just gives it a nice effect, and this one would be beautiful on a little Christmas card. You can see it just looks nice. I'll zoom in on this one because I don't want to pick it up yet. You can see it just looks nice and cute. Okay, so I've got 2 last ones I'm going to decorate. For these I'm going to use glitter and some glue, and I could also use that Crystal Effects glossy accents I used before. But I'm going to just use this, making a big pile on this scrap paper. I've got a pile of glue, and the first one I'm going to use this clear glitter. This is Dazzling Diamonds from Stampin' Up, but any clear iridescent glitter would work. This is just white. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start dipping my flower all the way around into this glue. So we'll get some glitter just on these edges. It's going to be messy, I have a feeling. Let's see, I'll hold it. I already got glue on me. This is one of those messy projects, but I mean, anything with loose glitter is going to be messy. Let's see, there's no good place to grab it. Maybe I should use tweezers or something, or do it in steps. Okay, there's some places that have lots of glue, so I'm going to dab some of that glue off, then just throw it in. Get it nice and coated. Lots of glitter all stuck in the little different folds. Okay, so you can see, I'll zoom in, maybe. Okay, so when the glue dries, it'll look more iridescent, but it just gives it a nice glittery feel. And I can go back, since I was having to hold it, I couldn't get all the little edges. But I can go back and get right around here, maybe add some right into here. But that gives you a really good idea of what it looks like. Zoom out. I do the same thing with this, but for the next one, I'm going to use this glitter tray, and I've got some blue glitter. This is turquoise glitter from Martha Stewart. Just comes in this thing. Actually, I'm going to clean out my tray here. There's still some red glitter in here from my last project with the glitter buttons. So just use a tissue and get out some of that red glitter. Okay, so I got out a lot of that red glitter, and then that way it won't get mixed together. I'm going to get this opened. Just going to do the pour and do the same thing here, except I've got hair on my fingers now, fuzzy stuff, because I'm covered in glue and glitter now. And I think a good way would do, like, stick a pop dot on here and a popsicle stick, and then just hold it by that. But I don't have anything like that with me on my desk. I'm just going to use my fingers, get them all dirty, and then wash my hands. That's part of the fun of scrapbooking, I think, is getting your hands all dirty and playing around with different techniques. Just dabbing. My dog's underneath my desk, so she's scratching herself now, making lots of noise. Okay, so I've got the glue on there. Just set it down and pour. Make sure I get all that glue covered. All right. Let's pick it up. Dump the rest of it off. Okay, so pretty. Set this down, let it dry, zoom in. Looks so cute. So that one would be nice and frosty for a Christmas card. This one would look really good on a Christmas card. I've got this green one now that's dry. It's just a little bit of green, shimmery. That would look good on a Christmas card. This vintage one would look good on a Christmas card. You see where we're going here. Even this one would look good on a Christmas card. And our last one here, let's see, where's the opening? Would look good on a Christmas card too. It could be a little ornament on the front of a Christmas card. So that's where we're headed. Okay, so for this first card, I'm going to use this little 3D element that I made. And I've got my layers here. I just have a red cardstock base. I just cut the sheet of cardstock in half at 4.25 and then scored it at 5.5 inches for a standard card base. Then I cut a layer of pattern paper, also from the August kit, and I cut this one at 4 inches this way by 5.25 inches this way to just layer on here. Then I've got this red sheet, and it's 3 inches this way by 4.25 inches this way. What I did, I just had the other piece of cardstock, and I just cut 3 inches off the top to make this layer. Then I used one of my embossing folders and my Big Shot to make this layer a little bit decorative. It could also be plain if you'd prefer. And then I made this layer to go on the underside, just a little matte. So this one's just slightly bigger than this layer here. You can see it just mats it really nicely. So first I'm going to put all of these together here with my glue. I don't want to use that one. I gotta find my tape runner. Okay, so I've got my tape runner. I'm just going to attach all these layers. Just center this. Looks pretty good. Now for this layer, I'm going to have this here and put a sentiment underneath this. I've got some maraschino colored twine. Let's see, I need some scissors. Okay, I've got some maraschino colored twine that I'm going to use to make the top of the little ornament like that. I'm going to just slice it. I don't have scissors right now. I don't know what I did with them. This is going to be the top of my ornament. And I'm going to go ahead and attach it to this using some little liquid adhesive. Get it positioned in the center here. It'll just be the hangy piece. Okay, so I've got to get my adhesive ready to go. I'm just going to put some of it in here, hopefully. Okay, that was way too much, but it will still work. That's going to hold my ribbon once it's dry. I'm going to go ahead and glue up both of these sides. That's much better. You don't need very much of this liquid glue. It's strong. Okay, and get it attached here. Kind of centered inside the card. And then this hangs up just a little bit, but that's okay. That'll be there, and it looks just like a little ornament. You can see from the side, it's all 3D, really, really cute. I think I'm going to actually add a little bow to the top here with this baker's twine. And maybe flatten this, adding a teeny bit of glue if it doesn't stay still. I'm just going to tie a bow out of this. For loose bows like this that's not tied around something, I make the two bunny ear type thing, then flip it under the little loop to get my bow. That's just the easiest way I've found to do a bow that's not tied actually around anything. Get it tight in the middle. Oops, got some piece of fiber connected to it. Looked like a paper scrap. I've got my bow, I gotta get it cut. Still use my X-Acto knife. So got this nice cute little bow to go on the top here. I'm going to add just a teeny tiny bit of glue. And also, it's not laying flat, so I'm going to add a little piece of glue to hold that piece down. I think that's a piece of a piece of paper that I cut off of something. Okay, so that's going to hold that down. This part will be held down with that other piece of adhesive. Okay, when that dries, it'll be really, really cute up at the top. So for the sentiment, I think I'm going to go with white paper and just cut a strip off the top here. But first I'm just going to stamp my sentiment. That way I know how big the strip needs to be. I'm going to use a stamp from the Bold Sentiments No. 2 stamp set. Let's see which one I want. I like this one. Okay, this one says, "We wish you a Merry Christmas," and I gotta grab some dark ink. I just grabbed a dark brown ink to go with this, since there's dark brown ink on my, or dark brown color on my card. Stamp it here. Okay, got our sentiment. I'm just going to cut a strip off of here. Okay, so now we've got that going. We can actually just make it a strip all the way across, or we can make it into a banner shape. And if I make it into a banner shape, I want it to hang over into this pattern area. I think I'll just cut a little bit off of each side here. My strip ends up being a little bit more, let's see, a little bit over 3.5. You can see just a teeny bit over to fit across here. I'm just going to cut these corners. Banner to go right there. And I think I'm going to just attach this with the liquid glue. It'll stick better to this patterned layer. Sometimes it's hard to stick things when stuff is patterned like that and embossed. Make sure we get it lined up. There's the whole project. Okay, so for this next card, I'm going to use one of the poppies from Poppyfield Summer stamp set, along with a Christmas sentiment. I'm making a Christmas card. I've got my card base here. It's just a nice, pretty green color. Then I cut 2 layers out. This is one of the pattern papers from the monthly kit. This measures 2.75 by 4.25. Then I cut this layer 2.5 by 4, so it just fits in there like that. Before we stick the layers together, I'm going to go ahead and stamp this. And I've got this poppy, and actually it's longer than my piece of paper. If you can see down at the end, it's way longer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a Post-it note and just block off a little bit at the end here so that it doesn't go down all the way and it's centered inside my little shape here. I've just got some red ink. This is just a deep, pretty red. My dog's playing a little bit. You're going to hear her. Okay, I'm inking up my stamp. I'm going to try to center this so that it doesn't go past the top either. Oops. Okay, so I got my flower. Close up my ink. I'm going to set that big stamp aside. And when I peel that up, it looks like the stamp was actually made perfectly for this piece of paper, although I made it just work inside my piece of paper with my Post-it note. Get that attached. I'm not going to rub on this white side because I might have ink on my hands. Instead, I'm going to rub from the back side. That way I protect my little piece here. Then I'm going to get that attached to the front of the card. Just a little bit to the top like that, because I'm going to add the sentiment underneath. That looks pretty good. Again, I don't want to rub that white. I'll rub on the other side. Okay, so we've got that part, and I'm going to use the same sentiment I used on the other card, the We Wish You a Merry Christmas. This time I'm going to use black so it shows up on that green really well. I just have my Memento Tuxedo Black. I always use that ink. Let's put it down here. I wish you a Merry Christmas. And then I'm going to add on one of my flowers to the side. Let's see. I like it on that side a little bit better. And I'm going to run some twine across here too. This is cappuccino colored twine. And to run the twine through the card, I'm going to have to make a little slit here so that the twine goes all the way around. I'm going to do it right about there. And I'll just feed the twine through that little slit, if I can. Just pushing the twine with my finger, try to get it through there. Okay. I actually want it to loop around one time, so I'm going to have to go through there again. Or sorry, I want it to loop around 2 times. Aha! Success! Okay. Pull it through, make sure we've got enough I'm just going to cut this end. We've got plenty of twine. I'm just going to tie a bow. Oops. Okay, that one looks nice. Actually, I'm going to have to grab my scissors because I can't X-Acto knife this one. Just cut these ends. Okay, we've got our cute little bow going across, and we'll add our flower end on this side. I'm going to glue this one on. Alright, let's fold it up. There's our second card.